Alright, so let's get into what I was into, okay? I'm gonna go back to you because it's another video. Alright? So where we left off was we learned what Kumupa'a means. Kumupa'a in Hawaiian meant the worship of one God, the creator. The creator of procreation, the God. One single God, the most higher. Okay, that's what Kumupa'a means. And then guess what they say after that? We are so distant from the Creator today that many now doubt or totally disbelieve in the existence of God, for they are no longer aware of or able to feel or awaken the inner pathway within themselves that leads to and from the Creator. Okay? Now, then we get back down here. Okay, we go. It says Pa'ao, which is the chief from Tahiti, made a return voyage to Tahiti in order to secure a relation of pure blood who could compete in rank with the blue-blooded families of the chiefs of Hawaii Island. Ladies and gentlemen, Tahiti, they had to get a pure-blooded Tahitian in order to compete with the blue-blooded families of the northern islands of Hawaii, which is Negro families. That's my family, and that's from my Negro grandma. That was her family, Mo'ikeha, which was the first king. He was a high chief. He was the highest chief you could get, and he became the first king of Kauai, and his son was the second king of Kauai. And this is the people they're talking about, and this is the blood that the Queen Elizabeth, the pale skin, says she comes from. That's why she rules Europe. That's why Europe, the crown of England, rules everything today, because they said they came from King Solomon, King David, and the blue bloods. It's kind of hard because I'm a blue blood, and it's difficult to hear all the stuff that happened to my family, to these families, and where we at now, and how much difference we can make. But in this world, it's difficult. It's fucking sad, man. Who Pa'ao claimed to have fallen low by intermarriages with commoners. So Pa'ao wasn't, he had mixed with commoners, so his blood wasn't high enough to compete with the blue-blooded chiefs of Hawaii. But he was definitely a high ranking because he walked in white. He carried all white, which in our system was, he was high ranking. You had reached another the spiritual level most kids did not attain in their lifetime. Pa'ao returned to Hawaii Island with a young chief named Pili to cling, a grandson of Lanakawai. He floats on water, the hereditary ruling chief of Hawaii land. So he went back to he went to Tahiti and got on descendant of Hawaii Island. Although Pili had been raised by Pa'o in Tahiti, Pili was made ruling chief over Hawaii Island, as many of the hereditary chiefs of Hawaii Island had exiled themselves to other islands to distance themselves from human sacrifice and the introduction of endless new taboos, meaning canonical laws. So we were running from sacrifices, running from these canonical laws they was trying to import, taking us from the Creator. Yet today we think what they taught us is what we are. Just like how the African American thinks they're slaves from Africa. No, they're the Native Americans of America. They're the Aztecs. They're the Quiche Mayans. They're the Peru Indians. They're the Caribbean Indians. We all been played for fools, and all our ancestors are crying out to us, read, motherfucker, read. That were being used to regulate the everyday lives of chiefs and commoners alike. While recognizing the gods of old, Pa'al introduced new gods. He established a hereditary priesthood called the Order of Pa'al, which was independent of and second only in authority to the supreme ruling chief. Because the islands of Hawaii existed under separated chiefdoms, the rest of the islands remained relatively committed to the unity of the God of the Old for quite some time. See, they're trying to add all kind of stuff, but we know there's been a hijack. And this guy might understand more of what happened, but he doesn't know of the extremities of what they had done and how our original priesthood was. He's only going by what he understands. But see, this is my forte. This is what I do. And I can see right through them. But the Order of Pa'al slowly influenced the other priestly orders, spreading the idea of hierarchy that placed the high priest second only in authority to the supreme ruler. Now you guys gonna dig this shit. Even on the other islands, the heirs to the chieftains became dependent on the priesthood for confirmation of their bloodlines in order to lay claim to the lands and right to rule. Remember I told you genealogy was everything. Born was man from the narrow stream, born was woman for the broad stream. 30 generations would come to pass after the arrival of the high priest of Pa'al on Hawaii Island. It was a period in descending time in which the procurators of our three ancient clans of descent took on a polytheistic image in worship. Through that periodic rearranging of the heavenly hierarchy of the gods, this rearrangement reflected a caste system in which the gods above were placed in order of rank determined by the social status of the hereditary descendants of hierarchy. Let me put it to you this way. All these other gods came in the picture, which all these families picked the god to worship. Then guess what happened? The god you used to worship, the creator, was put on the back burner, like in Samaria. Does this sound familiar to you? Okay. The hierarchy was periodically changed to place in ascendance the procreator of the clan of whichever ruling chief took possession of the land of the chiefdoms. So whichever clan came in to rule, their god was placed as the supreme creator. And what happened to the creator? What happened to Kane? What happened to the creator, huh? Exactly. Haya. What happened to him? The gods became unapproachable in worship without both the consent of priestly kawa. So, and nobody could worship. Only the priest could worship now. They made it so you couldn't worship. So, what happened to the creator if you couldn't worship him? What happened to you after this? Because you stopped worshiping the creator. And the only thing you had was other gods. The genealogists of the ruling chief and confirmation of one's hereditary clan by the Mo'o Kahuna, the high priest of the hereditary line of the procreators of each clan, ruling chief, proclaimed themselves to be the sole heirs to the ancient ancestral pathways of prayer that led to an ancient gods of procreation, creation, and beyond. Their priests became sole orators of the genealogies that had come down from the firstborn of the procreators of each clan to thousands of years of oral tradition. So now the priests wanted the power, so they controlled your genealogy. So now whole families were losing their genealogy. And what happened when you lose your genealogy in the Bible? You ain't shit. Many chiefs began to proclaim themselves to be living gods in secret temple ceremonies, which led to bloody battles among the three major clans of descent, and what amounted to a constant war of the gods. The common people became isolated from worship of the old gods, of the creator. So the Common people couldn't worship the Creator and ask for the help to protect them from the chiefs who got all crazy for lust for power, who was all in disarray because of the many God worship being introduced. As only genealogists could recite along the distant pathway that once connected the people as a whole to their first Amaku or ancestor. In many instances, the first ancestor was replaced with an ever-increasing line of names of lesser gods created by the deification of dead chiefs. So not only was your first in line on God, now dead chiefs who wanted to be immortalized became gods. So now there's gods and gods and gods. After these chiefs died, their remains were preserved, standing erect in fine woven mummy-like sinnet baskets in temples. Who else put mummy-like chiefs in temples? Did they do that in Central America? Did they do that in South America? Because I believe they did. Did they do that in Egypt? I think they fucking did. We have to see the hijack. They hijack us, all of our shit. They hijacked it all. And now it's crazy. We're even more crazy because now when we find out of hijack, we dismiss everything. We say all of it is bullshit. When they just came in and tweaked shit. Come on, man. Get with the program. It's all your shit. They just manipulated and confused it. In the years that came to pass, war began to mark the death of each ruling chief of the ancient unbroken line. Many